Well, good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Fashion Flair Friday. I'm Marian Gelletley, your host every week, and I always love to bring to you topics that you have interest in, and you've always expressed to me how worried you get about packing for trips. And so today I have a special guest. Some of you may know her. Her name is Barbara McDonald. Barbara is a friend, but she's a big supporter of mine. We have known one another for about 20 years, and she does, let's see, let me think of all the things she does for me. Well, she is my graphic artist extraordinaire. So all of the logos you see, a lot of the Facebook stuff you see, the handouts that I create for my classes, Barbara is the talent and the artist behind all of that. So you might be going, well, now what's that got to do with traveling? Well, what that has to do with traveling is that Barbara and her beau just went on a 2-week vacation, and she can tell you a little more about it. And when she got back, she sent me a photo of her carry-on bag that she took. That's all she took. And I was in awe. And I said, you know what, Barbara, I really need to have you come and talk about how this was successful for you and what did you do to get ready for it. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn it over to Barbara. She is going to talk us through her planning process and what worked and why it worked. And if you have any questions after the fact, after you've watched the recording, you can always go ahead and put your questions in the comments area, and Barbara or I will go ahead and answer your questions. So with that in mind, I am going to go ahead and bring Barbara right up here into full view. Take it away, Barbara.
Hi, Marian. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are
I did
welcome.
feel really proud of that suitcase and saved the picture after I sent it to friends who doubted that I could go for a 2-week vacation with just a carry-on size bag. But I did.
I would have doubted it too, but I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So
Should we show it right now?
yeah, sure.
Okay, share my screen. Okay, this is my suitcase. I even packed my snorkel and mask and an extra pair of goggles. I picked a color palette that was colors that look good on me, colors that I had some of and that I also purchased. So I brought the top that I'm wearing. I brought 2 long sleeve blouses that I could wear in the evenings and over the dresses, and they both matched all of the dresses that I brought. And I'll show you these full size after I go over the suitcase. I brought 1 light jacket just in case, which I didn't wear, shorts and a hiking skirt, which I didn't really wear. But these sneakers were key. I brought a pair of espadrilles in case I went out to dinner or wanted to get dressed up. And then just my toiletries and lots of undergarments, because I knew that I was going to be traveling in a converted van. So hashtag van life for 2 weeks. I'm going to stop my share and then I can show you some of the actual items. So
Tell us where you went.
We started in London, and I knew I was going to have a few days in a hotel in London where I could wash and dry my hair. So I asked if there was a hair dryer in the hotel, and there was. I decided I was going to try to do just a naturally dried style on the bulk of the trip because I didn't feel like lugging along a hair dryer, and I was living in a van. So my go-to shoe was this canvas sneaker with what do you call this on the bottom? The jute or whatever bottom.
Yeah.
That was very versatile for dresses. I decided to go for dresses because I live in Emeryville, which is across the bay from San Francisco. It is never warm here. I have a handful of dresses in my closet that I never get to wear, but I decided since it was going to be in the 80s and 90s that was going to be the base of my outfits, because for walking around the city, I could wear dresses and these sneakers. For going out at night, I could wear dresses and the espadrilles or also the sneakers. And so that was what I did. So the things that I wore most, I actually grabbed and would love to show.
So what I just wanted to say to our viewers is I like my clients and Barbara to think about, okay, what is the purpose of the trip? And are you dressing or are you packing for a fashion statement, for a reaction statement, or for a function statement? And I would say with you, Barbara, it was more function, but with a definite nod to making sure that you looked fashionable too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, the pressure of going to France with the French aesthetic and style, was pretty intimidating. And I also have a strong sense of always wanting to fit in. And so I did want to look fashionable, but I also really wanted to look myself and to wear the colors that I feel great in and that I know that I look good in. And so I was able to combine a few new pieces, just a few dresses. Like I said, I opted to go for that because I knew kind of that we were going to be pretty active, and that it was going to be hot, which I was loving. So I was able to combine a few of the pieces that I have. So the staples that I brought that I had were a couple of blouses. Like I love the print on this blouse. This greenish, grayish blue is a really good color for me because it looks great with my eyes. And it went with the blue and the white and the green dresses that I brought. So I brought this color green, so I could wear it over that either in the morning, or if it got too sunny and I was tired of slathering on sunscreen, I could throw a light blouse over the things that I had. For that wow moment in London, we did go to out for drinks and snacks at a place called the Ned, which is very upscale, very old place with super high ceilings, fancy piano in the middle. And I have this very long maxi dress.
Well, love it.
In an off-white. And then I had my other blouse that I could also wear over that. That's my other favorite blouse, which is this off-white with the kind of gold or beige polka dots, which is another story because it used to be black and white and that's not my color scheme.
Oh my goodness.
I bleached it out.
And so
but yeah, I basically just had
go ahead and
three
roll
simple.
up, would you roll up the sleeves of the blouse then?
Yeah, absolutely. Or sometimes they tied it around my waist,
Okay. Right.
And so that was really great to have. And then I just had 3 basic dresses: an off-white, a light blue, and then a green with a little, a little bit of a sleeve, but mostly sleeveless, which was amazing because it was
Which
so
you
hot.
needed. Yes.
Yeah. And then for jewelry, I mean, for the really long white maxi dress, I wore a statement necklace. I wore, when I did wear earrings, which wasn't always because I did a lot of water sports, I had these hoops and, fun, playful, because I'm playful.
Yes.
And just a basic silver hoop. And then just like, some bracelets. Easy to throw on.
The moral of the story is you don't need to have a lot. You just need to really think about where you're going, what you're going to be doing, and how you can be comfortable and yet be fashionable at the same time, and change up the look with your accessories, right?
I did. I changed up the look with accessories. I even brought a couple of scarves. If I had a bad hair day, I had a couple of scarves that went with my things. And one thing that I was really grateful for was one day we went on a really long hike and I brought this very long scarf, but it's very sheer. This one's a cotton one. I have a cashmere one like that as well. But that was great sun protection because we were in a garden that was quite hot. And I was trying to avoid the shade not avoid the shade, get in shade as much as possible, but it wasn't always possible in the gardens. And so that was a lifesaver because I just, you get kind of beaten down when you're in the sun a lot.
Absolutely.
Even if you have sunscreen, it's exhausting. And I did wear a hat a lot, which I don't have right here. But
that's so key. So key is the hat for the sun on our skin. So did you have the ability to wash over the 2 weeks?
We did. So interestingly, the campsites in France are quite extravagant. They are super clean, impeccably clean. They often will have a place where there's an espresso bar and pastries for the morning.
Oh.
Yeah, and they have laundry facilities. So washers and dryers. They also have just laundry sinks that are designated just for laundry. So you're not washing your clothes in somebody's place where they washed their dishes, although those are impeccably kept as well. So that part was really easy. They're really very nicely kept high-end campsites for not much money, $25, $30 a night.
No, that's great. I know that there's a lot of that glamping going on here in California where you
Yeah.
can go to campsites, but they are like in a beautiful tent and you can have breakfast in the morning, but you're still in the outdoors. So it sounds like it's a hybrid of those kind of
It
things.
definitely is that. I mean, I think one or two even had a swimming pool. We didn't need one. We were camped on the beach at the place we stayed near Saint-Tropez. So that was amazing. But yeah, I did really try to think about and imagine a lot of what I was going to do. But honestly, we didn't really plan until I got to London. So I had to be packed and ready to go because we didn't really plan the details of the trip until I got there.
Okay. Boy, you are a brave soul.
Well, as my guy said, we're going to be staying in a van that is smaller than most prison cells
Oh,
for
geez.
2 weeks together, and we did great. We passed the test, so that was good.
Thank goodness. Well, I always like to recommend to my clients that they begin the planning early. So they think about it a few weeks before they're actually going to go. Did you do that, or were you kind of that last minute throw it together person?
I did it. Well, I think I shopped on Wednesday or Thursday, and I left on Saturday.
Oh,
So
dear.
that was a little last minute for me, but I did have in mind what I wanted to get. And the only thing that I wasn't able to get in that short of a time frame is I thought I wanted a jumper, like a wide-legged pant,
Yeah.
easy, like linen jumper. And I couldn't find one that I loved. And that's the thing, Marion, is that since I did one of your classes, I can't buy things that I don't love.
Yes, for sure.
And I tried on many of those and I did not love any of them. So I didn't get one. Next time,
Yay.
yay for me. I don't have things.
Yay
So I
for
will wear these things again if it's hot enough.
Yeah, and that's
a big
the
if.
key. You only want to buy things that you'll put on again. Otherwise, it's a total waste of money. And that's why I do like to recommend that we start a little earlier in the process, not
Yes, definitely. Well, I did start earlier. I shopped my closet first.
Okay, good. Perfect. Always begin in the closet, because you know what? There are things in that closet that you definitely can pull out, whether it's vacation or, even just going to visit, a relative on the weekend. There are things that we have that we maybe don't wear all the time. Bring it out and try it on and see if it's going to work for this new occasion. So one of the other things, and you already said this in terms of colors, thinking in terms of packing on a 3-color plan. So you said you did cream, which would be a neutral, blue, which would be a color, and green, which would be a color. So and the green could really be a neutral for you. Would you agree?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have green pants on today.
Oh, there you go. All right. So the olive greens or the muted greens for Barbara are considered a neutral. So 2 colors and a accent color, or 2 neutrals and an accent color, is a great strategy to pack around. And it looks to me, everything you held up there, it fit that criteria. So good for you. We don't need to put in a coral blouse, or we don't need, you could do that with your accessories if you want.
I did, yeah.
But clothing, no. So just keep it tight. And then the other thing I like to suggest is that we do kind of the 3-3-3 rule because of mixing and matching. And so I say, okay, 3 tops of some sort, whether it's a blouse or it's a shirt or it's a t-shirt, but 3 of those. And 3 dresses. And you did have 3 dresses,
Yes.
didn't you?
Mhm.
Yes, perfect. Now, if you're not a dress wearer, then you could go ahead and substitute another blouse and a pair of pants in lieu of the dress, because I'm not really much of a dress wearer. So I might be able to take 1 dress, but then those other 2 dresses are going to have to convert to a bottom and a top for me. So think about that. And then 3 pair of shoes. Did you take 3 shoes or just 2?
I have a hard time taking fewer than 5 pairs of shoes, no matter how short the trip is, Marion.
Okay.
But I wore, because I was going to be in London, so that's a different look, and it was a little rainy here and there. I had my my Doc Martens, because they're very London,
Okay.
Little checked pants, and I don't remember what top. It was one of the tops that went with everything. And a light cashmere sweater for the plane.
Okay.
So I had those shoes, I had my espadrilles, and I had my sneakers. So yes, I got it down to 3
You
this
did.
time. Yes.
Yeah. And even you could put in a pair of flip-flops, if you will.
I did have flip-flops, 4.
Okay.
Okay, I had 4. I
Yep.
did.
And the flip-flops you can use for going to the beach, but you can also use them in the shower
Well,
or,
because I was in a van, I used them for getting up and going to the bathroom in the middle of the night
there you
or
go.
early in the morning. And my guy did not have flip-flops. And I said, you need some flip-flops
There you go.
or something.
Love
Because he had to put
flip-flops.
his sneakers on every time. It was not good.
And then how many pairs of pants did you take? Did you take 3?
I think I probably
Not
took
a
green pants
lot.
I have on because they go with this top. And this was one of my nicer blouses that I also wore in
Okay.
London. And then I had my check pants that were my trip outfit. I call it my trip outfit. So I always put my trip outfit out of the suitcase. Usually it's the bigger outfit of everything.
Yes.
And then I wore that same outfit back on the way home because I knew it would be freezing cold here.
Well, and I think that's really smart that the travel, the plane outfit going and coming. And then that's also, like you said, the heavier weight or the heavier warmth, let's put it that way, the heavier
Layers.
shoes, the Doc Martens, wear those kinds of things on the plane and wear them back. Don't try and pack them because they take up too much room. All right. And then scarves. You took how many scarves?
I think I took 3. I couldn't find the
Okay.
other one to show you today, but I took the one that went with the blues, the one that went with the greens, and then I took this that went with, like my cream and whatever.
And that could
Yeah,
be.
I wore it as a sarong as well with my swimsuits.
There
I
you
did bring 3 swimsuits, so I stuck with your 3-year-old there.
All right, very good. And then accessories, you had 2 pair of accessories.
I had a few,
earrings.
yeah. I mean, I might have brought more than the 2 pair of earrings. I might have brought like a stud pair of earrings.
Okay,
And I think I wore most of my jewelry once, but I hardly ever wear all of it. I did have one necklace that had some turquoise in it that went with my white dress and looked very beachy. It had a couple shells and a couple turquoise big beads, long
yes.
brown
yes,
string, very, very beachy. So
very
I did
deep.
wear that as well.
So you really did stick unknowingly, maybe, or maybe knowingly, that 3-3-3 rule.
I did. And I have to say, I mean, it was based on capsule dressing, which I learned from you.
Yeah.
And I had done that before, I think right after I learned that from you. And it worked, but I didn't put as much thought into it as I did this time. And it was really great to just have that palette and be able to mix and match everything that I had and feel like I wasn't repeating the outfits too often.
Well, good for
And
you.
changing clothes multiple times a day. I might start with one thing in the morning and something else in the afternoon. It was great.
And it sounds like you wore everything in that suitcase with the exception of one thing you mentioned that you didn't wear. I don't remember what it was now. But that's the other key, to make sure that everything that's going to go in the suitcase, you're going to wear, rather than taking all kinds of things for just in case I need it. Because we always, well, I shouldn't say we always, but so many women overpack just in case they're going to need it, rather than thinking about how can I take the things that I have packed, put them together in different ways so that it's going to serve the purpose of going to breakfast or going to the beach or going out to dinner or going to the museum. Whatever you're going to be doing, I think you really want to think about, okay, this is what that vacation or that business trip is going to look like. And based on that, what are the kinds of things that I need to make sure that I accommodate? Some of us are not going to be able to do what Barbara did by packing again her snorkeling gear in the suitcase along with her clothes and still just take a carry-on. And I said to her when she got back, oh, I bet you took another bag too. And she said no, that she didn't. She took her handbag and that was it.
I took my largest handbag, which isn't very large, Marion, because my scale doesn't want me to wear a big bag. So I took a handbag that I could fit you know, a book and things like that in, but it wasn't that big. It was
Yeah.
stuffed, but well, only because I sometimes put some makeup in case they lose my luggage, and
Yeah.
skincare and toothpaste, toothbrush.
Well,
That
and
in
the,
my handbag.
yes, and the beauty of carry-on bags today are the bag arrives with you at your destination, because there are so many people that are telling me that their bags have been lost. The bag hasn't shown up for 3 days after they've gotten to their destination. And that just really kind of takes the fun out of a trip.
Yeah, and that was another reason I wanted to do carry-on. I knew that they might ding me for it being overweight because it was a bit heavy with all those 4 pairs of shoes. But oh, and I had binoculars too.
Oh, there you go.
But it, you know, it made it on, and I was glad. And it's just really easy on the other end too, because you don't have to wait for your luggage.
Were there any other things that you packed in that suitcase that were lifesavers for you in terms of just maintaining, you know, your clothing or your skin
Yes.
or anything? Okay. What were
Well,
they?
I will say a couple things. Bring your own shampoo, because if your guy says that he bought you a shampoo bar, don't trust that it actually is a shampoo bar. My hair was awful for a few days, and I was like, you know what? I don't think this is a shampoo bar. I did not wear shorts because I'm not a shorts person, and I will remember that next time. I am just not a shorts person. I think I wore them one time and I was like, I don't, you know, I'm loving wearing the dresses. So I stuck with that. The other thing I did is I took my jewelry, and this is going to sound crazy and obsessive, but I packed my necklaces in separate little baggies and put them all inside just like a little drawstring bag, because they always get tangled. And the last thing I want to do is, when I want to grab my jewelry, is to have to struggle untangling my jewelry.
Okay. Good tip. Very good tip. Now, do you use, or have you ever used like the packing cubes? You
No,
know?
I've had one of those space-saving bags that you roll the air
Yeah.
out of, but once you unroll them, everything's big.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit
And
back
you
in.
know, those really serve a great purpose if you're traveling during the winter, where you've got the big ski jacket or parka and you really got to get things down to
Sure.
minimal space. But, you know, again, summer travel really is conducive to carry-on bags, because our
I think
fabrics
so.
are so much lighter and they're washable. And so, yeah, think about all these things. Anything else that you use? Like, did you use weather.com to kind of check what the weather was going to be like where you were going?
I
Or-
definitely checked the weather and saw that it was going to be hot in both London and France. It did rain in London, but it was still warm.
Okay.
I did not pack an umbrella, but the hotel had umbrellas, so that was
Okay.
good because it is London. So,
Yes.
yeah, all in all, I think I did a great job, and it was mostly because I gave a lot more thought to it than I usually do.
Well, and I also think too that you focused on your closet and your fashion statement and your style recipe and your colors. I mean, you've got all that very well nailed.
Mhm.
And so, you know, it makes it a little bit easier to do that, right?
Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, without a doubt, without a doubt. It
Yeah.
was way fewer decisions that I had to make
Yes.
to get into this trip.
Good for you.
So, yeah.
Well, I forgot to mention about Barbara, you know, I mentioned she was a graphic artist extraordinaire, but she is very artistic in many, many ways, and even with food. So, you know, go ahead and tell about your 15th of the month club.
So I have a dinner party every 15th of the month, and I just held my 258th or 9th. I will have to count it out.
Wow.
Consecutive monthly dinner party. I held them through the COVID lockdown as Zoom takeout, Zoom plus takeout, or as drive-in movies. So this last week, the 15th landed on Saturday. And I went back and revisited the drive-in movie because everybody loved them so much during the COVID lockdowns, because it allowed them to get out of the house, but stay in their car in their safe pods. I delivered food to everybody. One time I even wore roller skates and delivered the food.
Wow.
That was a dream of mine to do. But last week I showed the movie The Menu, and if anybody's seen The Menu, it's about a very high-end dining experience for some archetypes of people we know and maybe don't like so much. So I had fancy appetizers and cheeseburgers. So if you saw the menu will make sense. And also served s'mores, which was a big part of the ending of that film. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I love the intersection of art and food to make really beautiful, fussy, difficult food. It's how I relax, Marion.
Well, and for those of you that have not experienced Barbara before, go on to her Instagram page. And Barbara, is it just Barbara McDonald?
Well, Barbara McDonald is my Instagram page, so I have a few pictures from the trip, and I may upload more. But my 15th of the month Instagram page is 15th Dinner Party, and you'll get to see some samples. I did not upload this last week's samples yet, but you'll see plenty of fussy food samples there.
Well, all I have to say is you are an artist, even when it comes to preparing the food and serving the food, and all of your friends. I wish I lived closer to you, because I'd
For sure I'd have you over.
15th of every month to enjoy. I mean, it's a work of art. So Barbara's whole life is surrounded, or she is part of the art that she exudes in her life, including her two beautiful daughters as well. So it's always my joy to be able to work with Barbara and to have her in my life. And I hope that all of you have gotten a sense of who she is and have enjoyed this as well. So we only hope that we can look as fabulous on our next vacation as Barbara did. And I just want to say, Barbara, I love your glasses.
Oh, I thank you. I bought several pair because they're just I'm still at the reader stage, but yeah,
love them.
I think, you taught me that wearing a color that's close to your skin color helps you look more awake. And I love these glasses.
More rested. Oh, they're beautiful.
More rested.
I'm going to be having a Wendy Buchanan, who's going to be a guest here
Wendy.
next month. You know Wendy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about how you select great frames and great colors.
Oh, wonderful. I'd like to watch that, because I'm going to have to buy real glasses sometime soon. I think I need bifocals or whatever they're called, progressives at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I will have to invest in some real frames, and that'll be great.
Save your money.
Oh, okay.
Progressives are expensive.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And as I said, don't hesitate to ask your questions or make a comment in the comment section, and let Barbara know how much we appreciated her being here with us today. So until the next Fashion Flair Friday, I'm going to sign off and say thanks a lot for joining us. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Barbara.